Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nicodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. Pacific time on a Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. And welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we have no sponsors, no hidden agenda, and no BS. But we do have some news, so let's get to it. We begin tonight's show with a significant development in the Bitcoin market. The creator of Bitcoin Ordinals is Casey Rodarmor. Well, Rodarmor has stepped down, passing the baton to Rafjaf. This comes as the project reaches over 10 million Ordinals inscriptions. Rodarmor announced his departure as the project's lead maintainer on May 28th. He cited a lack of attention, so he passed the project over to Rafjaf, a pseudonymous coder. The Ordinals protocol was launched in January, and it quickly became the preferred method for creating new assets on the Bitcoin blockchain. Initially, Ordinals were used to inscribe data on the witness portion of Bitcoin transactions. They were inscribed onto individual satoshis. However, the introduction of the BRC20 token standard in March by developer Domo greatly accelerated the number of Ordinals inscriptions. This new standard allowed users to mint tokens on Bitcoin for the first time. That led to a surge in Bitcoin-based tokens. According to BRC20.io, the number of tokens grew from a few hundred to over 25,000. Now, while Ordinals have gained in popularity, they've also faced criticism. Some Bitcoin advocates argue that the method of inscribing assets on the network is inefficient and wasteful, particularly in terms of block space and transaction fees. To address this concern, developers have been exploring the use of smart contracts for minting assets and NFTs on Bitcoin. On the other hand, Ordinals have been praised for their ability to onboard new users to the Bitcoin community. Even noted Bitcoin foe Peter Schiff minted a small number of NFTs using the Ordinal protocol. This is the first time he had anything for Bitcoin other than criticism. This increased network activity, driven by the Ordinals, has been beneficial for miners. According to Dune Analytics, they've collected over $44 million in Ordinals-related fees. Bitcoin Ordinals now offer a Layer 2 solution for decentralized digital art storage on the blockchain. With the launch of the BRC 721E standard, users can now migrate their Ethereum ERC 721-based NFTs to the Bitcoin blockchain. The Ordinals Market and the Bitcoin Miladies NFT collection jointly introduced the BRC 721E standard. That standard allows the conversion of ERC 721 NFTs to Ordinals. While metadata is not initially stored on-chain, a lower quality preview image and a reference to the Ether burn can be included in the raw image data. This migration process involves burning the ERC 721 NFT through an Ethereum call function. That function is irreversible and serves as an on-chain inscription method. To claim the burnt NFT on Bitcoin, users must inscribe valid BRC721E data. After that, the breached NFT will appear on a custom Ordinals market collection page with complete metadata. Indexers verify the burned NFT data inscriptions, ensuring that each token has only one valid inscription and that the genesis address matches the burned transaction call data. Despite the initial lack of on-chain metadata, the Ordinals market believes the fundamental principles of BRC 721E and the flexibility of the indexers allow for the protocol to evolve over time. Since its launch in January 2023, Bitcoin Ordinals has garnered significant attention within the crypto community. The introduction of the BRC20 token standard in March paved the way for an experimental, fungible token standard designed specifically for the Bitcoin blockchain. The combination of BRC20 with Ordinals has led to the creation of numerous popular tokens, including Ordinals, VMPX, and PepeCoin. However, not everyone has embraced the rise of the Ordinals and this new token minting era. Some Bitcoin proponents criticize the method for being inefficient and wasteful. Now, from the world of Bitcoin, we turn our attention to the broader landscape of digital currencies. Central banks around the world are exploring the potential of their own digital currencies, with the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan making strides in this direction. The European Central Bank has finalized prototypes for a digital euro and will decide later this year whether to develop the EU's fiat currency in this new format. The ECB aims to boost innovation with its potential central bank digital currency, but is skeptical about using Web3-style distributed ledger technology in smart contracts. Fabio Panetta, an ECB executive board member, said that the digital euro design can be smoothly integrated into the existing payment landscape while allowing room for innovative features and technologies. The prototypes, however, have faced controversy due to its involvement of Amazon, leading EU lawmakers to call for a reversal of the plans. Panetta downplayed the significance of Amazon's involvement. He said that the prototypes were merely a lab experiment and would not be further utilized. For the back end of the prototype, the ECB rejected distributed ledger technology and instead favored a centralized model based on unspent transaction outputs, which are commonly used in crypto transactions. The UTXO system allows for fast, efficient validation of transactions, supports different payment types, and provides privacy. It also enables conditional payments without the use of smart contracts. However, lawmakers have expressed skepticism about the benefits of the CBDC, particularly if it does not allow for innovations such as programmable money, where users can control how their funds are subsequently used. In June, the European Commission will publish a bill addressing digital euro privacy safeguards and other key issues. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan has released its results of the second phase of its CBDC proof of concept experiment. The CBDC pilot project was launched on schedule in April and it ran for a year. The second phase focused on additional functions to complement the basic ledger functions tested in the first year-long experiment. The BoJ's second phase tested technology to implement upper limits on CBDC holdings, ensuring the stability of the financial system in case of a sudden shift from bank accounts to the CBDC. It also examined user convenience in initiating and scheduling payments. Experiments were conducted on the database language, ledger design, and a flexible value token model. An orchestration system was implemented to handle multiple transactions with the same account more efficiently. Privacy and offline payments were considered in the context of fraud prevention and the preservation of privacy. The proof of concept experiments were successful in achieving their desired results, leading the BoJ to proceed with its scheduled CBDC pilot project. The pilot project will focus on examining the end-to-end process flow and establishing connections with external systems. The BoJ plans to involve the Japanese public in discussions about whether to issue a CBDC and will create a CBDC forum to gain insights from private businesses. A final decision on the issuance of a CBDC is expected to be made by 2026. Staying in Japan, but shifting gears to regulatory matters, we find that cryptocurrency exchanges in Japan are preparing for the enforcement of the Financial Action Task Force's anti-money laundering regulations known as the Travel Rule. We talked about this before recently. On May 30th, major Japanese crypto exchange bitFlyer announced the adoption of measures in response to the enforcement of stricter AML standards targeting crypto transactions in Japan. bitFlyer has introduced restrictions on deposits and transfers, disabling transactions to and from exchanges that are not part of the Travel Rule Universal Solution Technology Network, or TRUST. Adopted by major industry firms like Coinbase and Crypto.com, TRUST is a platform allowing exchanges to securely manage customer data legally required by the Travel Rule. bitFlyer's latest restrictions relate to 21 countries and regions that require information notification based on the Travel Rule. In that announcement, the listed countries and regions are shown in the table, including jurisdictions like the United States, Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, and others. There are also restrictions on the types of crypto assets supported by Trust. bitFlyer currently facilitates trust transactions of currencies between Bitcoin and Ether, as well as ERC20 assets like Shiba Inu, Polygon, and others. Effective immediately, bitFlyer's new AML restrictions apply to all corporate and individual customers who deposit and send crypto assets using the exchange. According to the announcement, CoinCheck is the only Japanese exchange part of the Trust network and can interact with bitFlyer. At the time of writing, CoinCheck and bitFlyer only support Bitcoin transactions via Trust. More cryptocurrencies, including Ethereum and ERC tokens, are coming in the near future, according to bitFlyer. While adopting significant restrictions on transactions between exchanges, bitFlyer still supports transactions to and from self-custody wallets like MetaMask. This news comes amidst Japan's preparations to enforce new crypto AML restrictions starting from June 1st. On May 23rd, the Japanese parliament decided to strengthen AML measures to bring the local crypto framework in line with global crypto regulations. The new rules require any platform processing a crypto transfer greater than $3,000 to pass on customer data to the recipient exchange or institution. These measures aim to enhance transparency and to combat money laundering in the cryptocurrency industry. bitFlyer's implementation of anti-money laundering measures aligns with the travel rule set by the FATF, which mandates the sharing of transaction information between cryptocurrency platforms. The exchange has imposed restrictions on transfers to non-compliant platforms and has established notification requirements for trust-compliant platforms in 21 countries. So for transfers within the designated countries, bitFlyer only allows trust-compatible crypto assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ERC tokens. However, transfers to countries not on the list and transfers to private wallets can be made using any crypto asset available on the platform. Now, it's worth noting that bitFlyer's US unit has recently faced regulatory consequences, with the New York financial regulator fining the company for failing to meet cybersecurity requirements. This highlights the importance of robust security measures and regulatory compliance within the crypto industry. As Japan prepares to enforce stricter AML regulations from June 1st, major crypto exchanges like bitFlyer are taking proactive steps to comply with the travel rule. These measures aim to create a more secure and transparent environment for cryptocurrency transactions, promoting the integrity and legitimacy of the industry. From the Far East, we now move to the Old West. The 88th legislative session for the government of Texas concluded on May 29th without resolving certain bills that impact the digital asset industry. One of those bills, Senate Bill 1751, was transferred to the Committee on State Affairs on April 24th after being approved by the state Senate. The purpose of that legislation is to amend sections of the Texas Utilities and Tax Code in order to impose restrictions on cryptocurrency mining companies. This has drawn criticism from advocates of digital assets. Currently, there's been no progress on the bill, making it unlikely that lawmakers will address the bill until the next regular session in January 2025. It is important to note that the Texas legislature convenes every other year. If passed, the proposed legislation would cap the incentives for crypto mining firms participating in a program designed to compensate them for reducing their load on the Texas power grid to 10%. With no developments on this bill, cryptocurrency companies will likely continue to enjoy certain benefits from operating within Texas. While SB 1751 remains uncertain, two other crypto-related bills have already been passed by both chambers of the Texas legislature and are waiting for approval or veto from Governor Greg Abbott. In Texas, if a bill successfully passes through the legislature and reaches the governor's desk without an active veto, it automatically becomes law. On May 15th, Texas House Bill 1666 was approved by the state Senate. This bill, known as a Proof of Reserves Bill, aims to mandate exchanges to maintain reserves sufficient to fulfill all their obligations to customers and to submit reports on their liabilities to the Texas Department of Banking. On May 10th, lawmakers also passed House Bill 591, which permits Bitcoin miners in Texas to utilize flare gas emissions as a power source for their operations. Both bills are waiting for the governor's signature, or at least his veto. Now, normally, Abbott has a 10-day window to veto legislation he opposes. But if the bills are sent to his desk within 10 days of the regular session ending, that window extends to 20 days. Consequently, it suggests that 591 may already be considered state law, while Abbott has until mid-June to take action on 1666. Although Governor Abbott has previously identified as a supporter of cryptocurrency legislation, he has not indicated his stance on the current bills. So Abbott may have taken the holiday weekend to consider both of those laws. Texas is home to numerous mining companies, which has drawn criticism from federal lawmakers concerned about energy consumption and the environment. State legislators have also made progress on a bill to amend the Texas Bill of Rights to include the residents' right to possess, retain, and use digital currencies. On May 11th, this bill was referred to the State Committee on Business and Commerce. And finally, we turn our gaze to Russia, where the government has changed its plans regarding the creation of a national cryptocurrency exchange. Now, initially, They intended to launch a regulated exchange, but now they've decided to regulate multiple crypto trading platforms instead. This decision comes after the introduction of a plan for a national crypto exchange in November of last year. State Duma member Anatoly Askov revealed that the idea had been abandoned. The government now aims to establish rules for creating and managing crypto platforms, as reported by a local news agency on May 29th. The Ministry of Finance, along with other authorities, did not support the proposal for a national crypto exchange. Askakov, who leads the Duma Financial Markets Committee, emphasized the importance of crypto exchanges for Russian businesses to conduct cross-border transactions. Additionally, these exchanges would enable local firms to bypass sanctions, although this may lead to restrictions being imposed on such platforms. In response to potential restrictions, Russia plans to develop new crypto platforms and organizations while focusing on regulating the process. Askakov suggested that the Russian central bank would likely serve as the primary regulatory authority overseeing cryptocurrency exchanges. The associated regulatory framework will be part of a bill on experimental legal regimes. Bank of Russia Deputy Governor Alexei Guznov expressed that it is premature to discuss traditional cryptocurrency exchanges in Russia. Instead, these platforms would serve as organizations facilitating interaction between exporters and importers in cross-border transactions. For instance, they would assist Russian companies in making payments for parallel imports. Major Russian crypto companies reportedly oppose the idea of a national crypto exchange and preferred the establishment of a regulatory framework for these organizations. BitRiver compliance executive Oleg Oglenko expressed that the new regulatory mechanism would help mitigate risks associated with sanctions and cyber attacks on infrastructure. Further, it would address concerns related to market dominance. He suggested that crypto exchanges should restrict unqualified investors, particularly during the initial stages. Now, some experts in the crypto industry believe that the concept of a unified crypto exchange in Russia was not feasible from the start. David Lesperance is the founder of Lesperance and Associates, and he said that the crypto community in Russia would not accept such a national exchange. He pointed out that the users' concerns would extend beyond taxation, as government oversight could potentially infringe on personal liberties. Lesperance mentioned scenarios such as sending funds to dissidents, purchasing plane tickets to avoid conscription, or moving assets out of Russia, which could result in unwanted attention from authorities. He questioned the necessity of a national crypto exchange, especially when there are numerous alternatives accessible through a VPN. These developments coincide with the Russian government's ongoing efforts to develop legislation targeting the crypto industry, as well as their exploration of a central bank digital currency. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating, maybe a review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.